Bonjour, Kinamagan in Ireland, Dejnakas, and welcome to this week's edition of our Week at a Glance videos, featuring Week 30. We'll begin today's session again in our Google Classroom with the stream page. It's accessible to students by using their @psychchipschool.net emails. We have today's newsletter, which obviously this video is being recorded on Wednesday afternoon, so it's really tomorrow's, but it's today. Time traveling here. And then some information from last week. We have a flyer for the Family Literacy Night. We'll talk about that in a minute. Going down, we have our Spirit Days. We'll talk about that. Our breakfast and lunch menu for this month. A communication letter to fifth grade parents. I'll talk about that. We also have some final forms, the links that you can click there and fill out some information. If you need to download one of these, you could do that. And send it back to me and I will pass it on. And a tech letter, that's some information. If your student wants to do some work over spring break, they could access the material. I should be available to help with passwords or whatever for the majority of the time. So let's get into a reminder of our Spirit Days. Being that you'll get this email sometime on Thursday. Hopefully they're already wearing the fun socks. Friday is clothing with words. Colorful clothing on Monday. Sunglasses on Tuesday. I bought some new ones. Hat day on Wednesday. And Thursday, pajama day. We do encourage you to indigenize when you can. Family Literacy Night is tonight, aka Thursday, from 5:30 to 7. We are going to have some guest readers and storytellers, cookie decorating. While supplies last, we'll have some dinner. It's always good. Should get some crafts, bookmaking. For more information, you can call the school or reach out to the Charlotte Valley. That aforementioned note from Mount Pleasant Middle School. If you click on the link, this will send you to the family video that I showed a couple weeks back. Some information if you're going to be doing band or orchestra. I do encourage students, if you're making your decision to go to Mount, and you're going to Mount Pleasant, to get the paperwork in. Sooner is better. We still plan a visit to Shepherd, so if you're not sure, obviously I understand waiting a moment on that. But the K-12 paperwork, you're more than encouraged to send back ASAP, and I'll get that to where it needs to go. Looking at our newsletter, I just mentioned those Mount Pleasant documents. Just a reminder on homework. Didn't go so well with our Tuesday homework. And also any work they don't finish in the classroom should be completed at home. We mentioned that literacy night. Next week, Wednesday, March 20th, will be a half day to do professional development. Classes will dismiss at noon and lunch will be served. I also should mention there'll be no school on Friday. We will begin spring break, and I will have that in next week's newsletter. Just a reminder on cold weather clothing, which seems crazy as it's rather nice outside. But if you notice in the very bottom here, it says temps to plummet. We're not out of the winter and spring dance yet. On days where it's going to be cold, please make sure students are dressed appropriately. If it does snow, please leave the Crocs at home and have shoes that are going to be more appropriate, because we do go outside at times. A heavy hoodie or coat should be available for colder days, because unless it's colder than 15 degrees, we're going out. What are we learning in math? We're working on multiplying and dividing fractions. So we're kind of going through there. Language arts, we are continuing selections related to the sciences. We're going to look at microbes and how they impact our health, including a little segment on the plague. We are now engaged in learning about the Revolutionary War. This will kind of span the third and fourth quarters. And science, next week, we're going to do some spiral reviews, some small explorations, and then we'll really get into our new unit when we come back from spring break. And then you get the vocabulary. Our learning plan for next week, you can see there's a lot of holes in it, like half days, or we normally don't use Wednesday science. We have some makeup days scattered in here. This has worked out nicely to kind of split up certain parts around spring break. And I'll talk more about options for students to keep academically busy during that break. I do not send packets home, so don't have to fear that, but there's online resources they can utilize, and I will always encourage students to read 20 minutes per day, even on a school day. So that word there. Kind of feel like we're actually at this beach. It's been so nice outside. Looks like that may be slowly going away. We'll have a lot of information in next week's video about things students can do over break. The first week back, we have a field trip tentatively scheduled. I'll talk about that. And it's amazing that at the end of next week, we're at the end of 3 quarters of this year. We have 1 quarter as we get students prepared to move on to middle school. I'm excited to see the students and their growth down the stretch this season, and especially look at all the great things they do in the future. So with this, I'm going to end this episode. I hope to see some of the parents tonight at our family literacy night, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their week, an amazing weekend, and at least there's no time change, and I'm in a good. Meanwhile, Bama P.